As soon as you have an inch of power or money, people want to take it, and therefore you become a big target. So that's why some of the richest and most powerful people in the world invest a crazy amount into their protection. From world leaders to billionaires to people you wouldn't expect to be on this list. I'm Charlie, and today let's check out the most protected people on Earth. But before I get taken out by bodyguards for even mentioning this, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too? Coming up first on the list, we have Queen Elizabeth II. Almost everyone in the world knows who Queen Elizabeth is, or as I like to call her, Liz. You see, every Brit knows the Queen really well. But in all seriousness, many say that the Queen is the richest person on Earth. And I can believe it, because every year £27 million is spent on her protection. That's nearly $35 million every year, and this is paid by the taxpayers of the UK. For that amount, she gets 185 SAS officers at all times. That's right, around the clock, almost 200 of the most elite and trained soldiers in Britain protect this lady. And for the entire British royal family, it's around £100 million a year to protect them. The Queen is also transported in helicopters and Land Rover cars, which are armoured heavily. The Queen even has her own special police, known as Protection Command. This is a specialist team part of London's Met Police. And you can actually spot these in London. They drive around in red police cars. Unlike most British police, these cops are armed. And of course, she also has what's known as the Queen's Guard outside Buckingham Palace. Next up is Kim Jong-un. North Korea is not exactly the most rich country in the world, but that doesn't stop Kim Jong-un from being one of the most protected people on the planet. It's said that every year $20 million is spent on his protection. This is mainly because he's so paranoid and thinks everyone wants to take him out. He drives around in an armoured limousine, and running alongside that is a security detail. Seeing as there are literal movies about him being assassinated, maybe it's a good thing he has these guys. But Kim Jong-un doesn't just have a personal secret service. He's also got his very own 100,000-man army. That's right, as well as the 1 million personnel in the North Korean army, he has an additional 100,000 all to himself. And this unit is known as the Supreme Guard Command. Next up is Donald Trump. Everyone knows the President of the USA, and everyone's got an opinion on him whether it's at home or abroad. Because of this, a lot of money does need to be spent protecting the president at any given time. Protecting Trump costs around $150 million every year. Within the first 10 weeks of him being in office, the cost had already exceeded $30 million. And this money also protects his son Barron and his wife Melania. Trump often travels between the White House and his estates around the USA. That's why his protection cost is slightly higher than previous presidents. He travels inside Air Force One, which is a gigantic plane. That is then followed by a backup doomsday plane. You can actually survive on the backup plane for up to 2 weeks. Trump also travels around in the Beast. This is a fully armoured car. Inside the car there are tear gas grenades, and it's all bulletproof. Even the tires are bulletproof, as they're made of Kevlar. The doors are also the same doors used in a Boeing 757 jet. The car is also blast-proof, meaning it could withstand an explosion. And the chauffeur is trained by the US Secret Service and is the best driver in the country. And in the driver's glove compartment is a machine gun. Next up is Bill Gates. Bill Gates founded Microsoft and therefore has a net worth of $110 billion. Him and Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, constantly compete as to who is the #1 richest man in the world. But Bill Gates' security is absolutely insane. In 1999, someone threw a pie in his face. This caused him to reassess his personal safety, and now he rolls around with many bodyguards. Around his house, he also has an electronic grid. This basically disables any drones people fly over it. He also pays around $1 million a year to get 20 bodyguards at all times. The doors of his office are also made out of steel. So while he may look nerdy, you won't get anywhere near him unless you can tackle his 20 bodyguards. Next up is Barack Obama. You may think that when someone is no longer president, they retire to a life of relaxation and luxury. But there's still the threat that someone would want to harm an ex-president. After all, every politician has to make decisions, and some people do not like. Every year, $16 million is spent protecting Barack Obama and his family. His daughters are not allowed to go to their day jobs or on dates without a bodyguard. It's said that Barack and Michelle Obama have made over $100 million since leaving office. This is mainly from their books and speaking engagements with large corporations. And this has allowed them to convert their house into a fortress. They have a large gate around their house, as well as reinforced doors and cameras everywhere. And despite Obama being an ex-president, he still has a security convoy everywhere he drives. Next up is Mark Zuckerberg. Recently, Mark Zuckerberg has been getting a lot of criticism in the media, so that's probably why this year he increased his security budget from $7.3 million to $20 million. He's got his own personal bodyguards which travel with him everywhere. Whenever he goes on a jog, the security guards follow. He's also got bodyguards for his home and where he travels. And apparently these are called the Zuckerberg Secret Police. Right now, there are 16 full-time guards working in shifts at all times. Sheryl Sandberg, the chief operating officer, also has $2.3 million spent on her own personal security. The company is constantly under fire for data breaches, so it's no surprise Mark Zuckerberg needs the security. Next up on the list is Jay-Z and Beyoncé. If you think Jay-Z and Beyoncé are simply pop stars, then you'd be wrong. In fact, many say they're incredibly powerful and maybe in the Illuminati. But Jay-Z and Beyoncé have a combined net worth of $1 billion, so people may be out to get them. One time in Brazil, a fan got on stage and injured Beyoncé. This caused the power couple to ramp up their security for millions of dollars. Jay-Z has 5 personal security guards who are all former intelligence officers. And Beyoncé also has an additional 5 bodyguards. They travel around in 2 blast-proof Latvia SUVs. This was the same military-grade vehicle used by Barack Obama when he was president. And they've also spent $1 million on security on their $88 million LA mansion. This includes cameras and reinforced doors all over the place. Coming up next is Pope Francis. Pope Francis, head of the Catholic Church, already lives in the most secure country in the world. The independent Vatican City has one of the lowest crime rates on the planet. But everywhere he traveled, he's accompanied by guards holding spears. There's also ex-Swiss soldiers which make up a high-end military. These guys have a gigantic collection of firearms hidden away. And of course, the Pope also has the Pope-mobile. This is a car made of bulletproof glass so he can travel around and still be seen. And finally on the list, we have Tom Cruise. Much like Jay-Z and Beyoncé, this one's kind of strange. Tom Cruise is barely ever seen in public, and he's also not a politician or a billionaire. But the devout Scientologist is known to be very paranoid with security. He apparently has frequent calls to the FBI, and underneath his house is a covert bunker to escape to. He also lives behind the walls of the Church of Scientology. And in 2019, a celeb paparazzi even had a gun drawn on him by Tom Cruise's security guard. But now it's time to make your voice heard. If you were super rich or powerful, would you get a crazy security detail? Vote in the poll in the top right corner. If you want some more amazing videos, then check out my second channel. But as always, thanks for watching. There's some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.